The conversations that need to be had. Intuition by Max.
Got you.
People thinking too far in the future, right? And I always say, thinking too far in the future can lead to anxiety. So healing people from that space, bringing them into the present. And I always say, thinking too far in the past can lead to depression.
Yeah.
So it's about taking them out of that state of deep rest. So it's either people not being and abusing themselves.
From a past of violence, road life, and even prison, Miles has been able to help himself, align himself, and overcome many obstacles in his life. From energy healing to real estate investments and an up-and-coming author, Miles is now educating people on how they can create change with a single thought and believing you can do better no matter what circumstances you're in. Amazing stuff. So everyone, I'm here with my man Miles, my good friend Miles. We have been friends for a good few months now. Probably near on a year, and we've been doing some amazing lives as well in the past. So if anyone's always caught them, if you haven't seen them, go and check them out. There's loads and loads and loads of information that we've given away for totally free. And Miles, I just had to get him on the podcast because our lives were always about intuition, and we just sort of on the day we would just say, right, should we just talk on this topic, and then we just go into it. So kind of this is how this idea for this podcast has been born. But Miles is a healer himself, and we're just going to dive into how he's gone from where he was and healed himself, and now how he heals people. So Miles, what is for you healing? Like what does healing actually mean for you? Because it's going to be different for everyone, but what does it mean for you?
Boy, healing comes in the form of not just healing from a common cold, right? Healing, I believe, deals with the soul and how we connect to ourselves and kind of get over trauma, abuse, neglect, all these types of things. It's about understanding who you are and slowly connecting back to yourself to clear out all those energy blockages that have carried with you through this life and possibly past lives, right? It's about removing that energy and allowing yourself to possibly forgive. I'm not saying you can forgive and forget what has happened to you in life, but possibly forgive that situation and let it go. And let's say how they say, shine light on it, shine light on the situation and grow from it. And that's what healing means to deep, deep soul work, not just the physical matter, deep soul work, celestial work.
I love that because I've been like recently thinking about how healing takes place and how healing doesn't necessarily like you can't consciously heal. I personally don't think it's something that just happens, just like when you cut yourself or when you get tattoos. Like you've got tattoos, I've got tattoos, it scabs over and it heals itself. But they say if you pick at it and you get in the way of the process, then it stops healing, doesn't it?
Exactly. And it's like healing comes from, there's so many different aspects to it. Like you got hypnotherapy, right? Altering or growing the mind from a situation where it was at to a situation where it can get to. Then you've got energy healing, removing the energy. Then you've got healing through food, through speech therapy, through touch therapy, through breathing therapy. Healing comes in so many different forms, right? And it's about not just doing one, but understanding what each one is and gradually introducing each one into your life to make you a better person.
Love that. It's multifaceted, isn't it? Like you can't just eat clean, you can't just think positive, you can't just just meditate. Do you know what I mean? There's so many facets to it, and we've spoken about like we're both plant-based in the way that we eat, and that suits us. And like you said, the foods that we're eating, they are nourishing. And I saw you post something on your story, I think it was yesterday, about something for girls with period pains. What was that? I'd be curious to know because I'm sure people would love that.
All right. So what it was guinea hen weed. It was a drink that I had bought and I was drinking it, but also the herb has healing properties. Right. So it's not just for period pains, for like eczema, arthritis, anxiety, cancer, and disclaimer, when people tap into this herb side of things, understand what they are. Don't just back anything. Understand what it is you're taking because certain herbs you can't take when you're pregnant. For example, guinea hen, that promotes an abortion. So if
Wow.
someone is pregnant, they shouldn't drink guinea hen meat. But
Got it.
outside of pregnancy, you can possibly drink it for arthritis,
Interesting.
period cramping, menstrual cycle, clotting of the blood when you're on your period. So yeah, with herbs, that's a whole different ball game, like a ball game that I'm still understanding myself, and you're going to forever understand, because there's so many ways how to tap into herbs. Some people dissect them and see the properties and test it. You know, they do testing. They get 60 people and say, all right, let's see the effects of this. Each person has a different problem.
Right.
What can come from this as a result? Then they can see, okay, this herb is for that. Or you get people who are intuitively connected to the herb, and they can feel the herb as it grows, and the herb has a soul. You know, all living things have a soul, and you connect to the soul, and the soul feeds back energy. You can understand what that herb is about. So yeah, that's very deep. So I'm not gonna go too deep for that. But there are herbs that are for healing many things.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that.
Many.
But that's the thing. Like I truly believe that everyone is so different, that just because like think about it this way. I'm more prone to like herbs, ancient wisdoms, ancient medicines, plant medicines. Like I'm more prone to the more natural remedies for anything. And but although modern day science does help heal things, but take, for example, one thing doesn't cure everything. For example, what's the when someone has cancer, they have chemotherapy, don't they?
Yeah.
And chemotherapy doesn't always get rid of every cancer, but it does get rid of cancer. And one thing that I've been noticing with a lot of people is all down to lifestyle changes. And I know your story and what you've been like in the past, which we've got a similar. I mean, if I'm being honest, you were probably a bit more of a bad kid than me, but but your lifestyle changes made you into who you are today. And obviously you're healthy, you're fit, you're young, and like you said, did you say your body or your mind was at a younger age than? I remember you telling me something about that.
Yeah. So what it was is how I eat. You know, for anyone that's listening, I wouldn't just say it's a plant-based diet. It's a cell food diet, because the food I eat feeds my cells. It's not just about feeding the body and its organ. You have to feed the cells and the mind. So I've been doing this for like 7 years now, eating like that. So cool, chiropractor now. I go chiropractor, not because I'm got problems, but it's about alignment, and
definitely
moves energy around the body. So when I'm doing my energy work, it's like blast of energy, better than what it was. So I did a metabolic test, right? And did the testing. I was like 27 at the time, and the guy was like, he looked at me like, what the I was like, what? I'm sitting there thinking, oh, what have I done now? What now? What problem now? He goes, is this correct? No, let's do this again. So he does the percentage of fat, water retention in the body, this, that. The metabolic rate was about 11 or 12. And he was like, nah, what would you eat? I said, food. What food? I'm like, food, just food. What, specific? I don't know, like vegetables, fruits. So you don't eat meat, fish. It's not really food to me, but nah. He goes, what, milk? Nah. He goes, huh? So he was so confused, and I said, yeah. So how long have you been doing this for? At the time, about 5 years. And he was like, this is, I can't remember if it was 11 or 12, but he said, this is 12. So your organs, your insides, right, are functioning at a 12-year-old. Not like there's anything wrong with me, like, you know.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. My insides remain pure. So the food has reversed everything that was going on in me, and it's kind of pulled me physically at age. Even so, some people say, oh, I don't believe you're really your age. Like, you look like 22, 23, 24. I'm like, yeah, it's just how I'm eating. Reverses everything. When you're hydrated, right, hydrates the skin. People don't understand what water and real cell food does for the body. Like, when you're getting magnesium, right, it's helping with sleep regulation. You're getting potassium in your system, it's helping with the heartbeat. You're getting sodium in your system, it's keeping water outside the cells so the cells can function.
Love that.
there's so many things that are in water that people don't realize. And then if we go deeper, we talk about coconut water. So at the time, I did the metabolic rate, I was heavy on coconut water. And coconut water contains electrolytes, right? Which are found in the blood, and it gives you an electrical charge around the body. People don't know that.
Right.
People just think, oh, it tastes nice, but no, you drink
I
coconut
don't like the taste of it.
Yeah.
I need to, because it's good and I want to like the taste of it. I can put it in smoothies, but I just don't like the taste of it.
Well, add it to smoothies. It has a positive charge on the body, and it's like,
right,
oh, you're alive. Yeah. So everything, your function and how you should, your reaction time quicker, everything is, you're moving in such a way where it's like, I'm moving like I was 12, like I'm swinging on those monkey bars, one arm, jumping, climbing up trees. I'm still able to do that. Where prior to eating like this, I was going gym, but I was just, henchman, lift weights, don't stretch. Now I'm like, lift weights, calisthenics.
Do the splits.
So like, I might do some splits on the spare, touch my toes, hands on the floor. And that's because I've healed myself internally. I've gone deep and I've dug out everything. I've taken out the mess. And I'm not saying anyone should just solely jump on that diet, because you need to understand what it is you're doing.
Yes,
you need to. When you understand what it is you're doing, that's when there's no problems and there's no relapse. But when you don't understand and you jump into it, people are like, oh, okay, I'm going to jump into the plant-based diet or vegan diet, or people say, or vegetarian. I'm going to take it slow. Vegetarian, vegan, plant-based, cell food, raw, whatever. And they're like, I'm going doctors, and the doctors are saying my iron levels are even lower than they were. And I'm like, yeah, because what it is, you're eating of the Western world. You're eating GMO foods.
Yes,
the food that have enhanced molecular structures. You're not eating the natural food. You're eating food that has gone through gene splicing, like cauliflower, broccoli, certain salads, certain vegetables. They're not in their truest form. So if you want to eat fruits in their truest form, you have to get the bananas that are real, the wild bananas, the burro bananas. You've got to get the oranges that are seeded, the grapes that are seeded. You want to eat fruit that is from the Caribbean, like soursop and custard apple. These foods are untampered. And when you're eating those, you're pulling the water from that, and you're getting into water. Then you're drinking water. And then you're functioning. The mind is clearer and it connects. Mind, body, soul. It's not just mind, then body, then soul.
It's all three. That's it. That's what I love. That's what I love most, is especially because because I eat a vegan diet, I've stopped eating processed meats, because like you said, it's that GMO, it's just not good for you. But I would understand if someone wanted to like come off of eating meat to eating that, because it's a replacement, and I totally get that. But now, for example, if I was to make like a pasta dish, I know you're not too big on carbs as well, we've had that conversation, but if I was to make a pasta dish, usually I would, like before I was vegan, I would always put chicken in it or some bacon in it or something like that. But now it doesn't cross my mind to not put anything but vegetables in it. Do you know what I mean? It's just a habitual thing. But I recently, which is going to be uploaded onto my YouTube in a few days, I think, or next week, is a video I made about my view on veganism now. And I think we've spoken about, I used to be very preachy with my veganism, be like, well, if you're killing animals, you're doing this, you're a bad person, all that. And I used to think like that. Now, my honest opinion is, well, animals shouldn't lose their life for my consumption. I just believe that. I think it's a totally wrong thing, like killing an animal. I think it's wrong. But I do also agree that everyone's completely different. And like you said, some people, and I can't remember what it was, but it was basically something I watched, and they were saying there's tribes in the Amazon that only live on meat diets. There's tribes in the Amazon that only live on fish diets. There's tribes in the Amazon that live on vegetable diets. And they're all healthy. So I was like, what's the common denominator between unhealthy people? And it tends to be genetically modified food and sugar. That's the only bad thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's like touching on that. It's always where you're situated. So the modern day pig now is probably going to be genetically modified. But if you're in the wild, that pig is from a bloodline that hasn't been or come into contact with humans. It hasn't got a chip in it to track its mileage through the day. It hasn't got a chip, in their system to see, to see when their child is born. It's a true animal. So it's less harmful on the body. But imagine eating GMO fruits and vegetables, then GMO meat. It's like, yo, you might as well just eat what you can excrete from your system. Is you always got to understand like what it is you're putting into your body, because like you're always an application of your food. You're an application
100%.
of what you see, what you breathe, what you smell, what you consume, what you touch. So
Mm.
if you can be that bit more conscious of it, then you can have less problems. But again, like we said, certain tribes eat certain meats and they're healthy.
Yeah.
But where we're in an environment with electronic devices, we sleep with our phones, we wake up with our phones, we have these headphones in our ear, these TVs. It's like, ooh, that's a lot, including that stuff. So let's make little changes to counteract that radiation that's seeping into our body and making ourselves radioactive. And then we can just kind of live that bit better and that bit longer and live to how they lived in those days, 900 years old, 800 years old. It's just,
100%.
We've
already said it. Me and Miles, we're going to be living on an island in somewhere in the sun one day. We'll refer back to this video. We'll be like, told you. We'll just be eating coconuts. You'll get me on the coconut water one day, Miles.
Exactly, man.
I love it.
That's
But it's interesting how we can also reverse like the damage we've done effectively. Yeah. Because I'm like, all the stuff of like 5G and stuff like that. Like, I do believe there is a danger with 5G, totally believe it. But I also believe that we have a power to heal ourselves from that danger, based on our holistic lifestyle. So everything, down to the food, down to everything we do. And my new philosophy with everything that I'm doing, and I'm just trying to really put this out there, is that we can really heal anything. I truly believe we can heal anything, but I also believe that myself, I can't heal anyone. I can help them heal themselves. And you probably say that as well, as an energy healer, you're just a vessel to help them heal. That's what a lot of energy healers say to me as well. And I'm like, I totally agree with that. And my philosophy is that the body can heal anything, like a cut. You cut your arm and the body heals it. You don't have to tell it to heal it. And scientifically speaking, your body is your subconscious mind. So then if someone's been through a trauma, as well as like a body trauma or a mental trauma, if the body can heal itself, can the subconscious mind heal itself? My philosophy is yes. And then that's why someone like Miles, and we'll dive into exactly what it is you do in a moment, but that's why someone like Miles will do energy healing, so that you can open them up to say, sort of like, there you go away and go do what you need to do now. Like, we've opened you up, but now go away and heal. So what is it you do? Because you do Reiki, don't you? But what else do you do, or is it just Reiki?
Nah, I don't even really offer that to people. It's just like, if you want something, it's there because it's the in thing, it's like, amazing. So I'm a Reiki master and teacher. I'm able to attune people or tell her like, I'm not able to attune people to it. People get attuned to their energy themselves, right?
Because of your teaching.
Yeah. So I'm just a guide. Like you said, I may do energy healing, but I ain't the healer. The energy is themselves. So cool. I do Reiki, and I also do like Akashic Records readings. I'll touch on that a bit. It's just about what it is. Imagine there's a big book of life. It contains what me, you, our parents did, our siblings, our cousins, aunties, uncles, right? And it just leaves a footprint energetically in this book, not physically, energetically. And what it is, because we're all one and one is all, as an individual, I can tap into that Akashic Records and pull out information about that individual, which best suits them. So let's say someone's going through something in life and they're not too sure what they're going through. Maybe that book of life will talk about something they've done in a past lifetime that they need to release in this lifetime to get to the next step. So that's one thing. Another thing I do is accelerated light healing that I combine with the ancestral healing. Ancestral healing is simply healing your, let's say, ancestral line from any trauma that you may be carrying, because that trauma has fell on you because you've come through this lifetime and you're not too sure what that trauma is. It could be anything, any single thing. It's about helping that person release that energy. Again, I'm just doing the healing, but they themselves are the healer. And maybe some of their like ancestors may come into the space, some of their guides, I don't know, the angels, if people believe in that, the energy itself, universe, source, whatever you want to call it, beings of light, guide them and help them release those energies. Then I also do space clearing, just about clearing the space you're in. Like, not with all this sage stuff. It's a bit deeper than that. Not saying sage don't work.
Yeah, but it's more than just sage.
More than just sage. I also do chakra alignment. Not just the 7 primary chakras in the body. There's actually 114. Yes. Then from 114, there's like 144,000 that connect through dimensions. So yeah. There's
a lot. There's a lot.
That's
what I love about the stuff that you do as well, because you don't necessarily like the way that you explain it is someone they come to you, you're the vessel to help them get what they want. Because people that say, and I don't agree with people that say I'm and not that I'm a healer, because that is wrong, because effectively you are a healer, but you don't heal people. You open the space up and get them to a space where they can heal effectively. And I don't know, it's kind of like, so with the philosophy I was saying about the subconscious mind can heal itself, is if you put a plaster on a cut, it stays like raw and open longer.
Yeah.
But if you let it get the air and you give it space and you don't like knock it, then it starts to heal. And I was chatting to someone yesterday saying, but if you walked into a door and pulled the scab off, it would still bleed, but it wasn't your fault the scab came off. And that could be like an analogy of other people that may come into your life and open up these old wounds again.
Yeah.
But what is something that you typically see people like healing from, especially where they've been? Like what's like a common thing that people are actually healing from, and what people most need to heal from as well?
Mostly it's abuse. Sometimes self-inflicted abuse, and I don't mean physical, but I just mean abusing yourself and not believing in yourself.
Right.
Always thinking the worst that could happen from an outcome before the outcome comes.
Got you.
People thinking too far in the future, right? And I always say thinking too far in the future can lead to anxiety. So healing people from that space, bringing them into the present. And I always say thinking too far in the past can lead to depression. Yeah. So it's about taking them out of that state of deep rest. So it's either people not being here and abusing themselves from past situations, or abusing themselves in future situations that have yet to come. That's the main thing I deal with.
Love that.
Everything is, I wouldn't say everything is abuse-based, but even down to myself, like what I used to be on before doing this, it's like, I wasn't looking after myself. And I thought, okay, the road life is the way to be because it gets you where you need to be. But I'm putting myself through situations, problems, not sleeping at night, doing this, inflicting pain on others, inflicting pain on myself. I wasn't cutting my arm or anything saying that, but just little things, even down to me not understanding what it means to have a good diet, what it means to build relationships with people. So it's normally everything to do with myself. That's how I teach or advise people how they can heal from what they're going through. So abuse is the main thing. And abuse always leads to many other things, because you've got energy blocked in a specific space, right? Imagine energy going through the body. There's someone called Louise. No, let me not say Louise, I know Louise. Let's say there's someone called...
Use me.
Let's just say there's... Yeah. There's a Sally, right? And Sally's having some situations in her life, right? And energy is passing through all this abuse. The energy decides to stop around the heart. And she's always out of breath, heart palpitations, always getting heartstrings pulling on her heart. And she's not sure what that is. So that abuse can lead to heart murmurs. When we've understood what that abuse is, we can then work on getting rid of the heart palpitations, the missed heartbeats, the anxiety that's in the heart. Just about that energy will always stop somewhere, and then a name is given for it. That's just how it is. Yeah.
Okay. So then what does one do to clear that energy? Because I've been recently taking up Qigong and I absolutely love it. It's so much fun. And it's just like a 10-minute practice in the morning. And like, other than, because obviously energy healing itself, like I would always recommend to go and see someone. I just recommend it. I'm all for it. I've had it and I know the benefits of it. It's just great.
Yeah.
But let's say someone doesn't necessarily go and see someone, they can't get it booked in. Let's say there are just blocks in their life and they just can't get this session booked in with yourself or someone else. What can someone do, and maybe something that you do that clears your energy? Because I always say to people, look, I can help you solve your traumas and remove the emotional connection from it with hypnosis. I can, but I can't stop negative situations occurring and more traumas happening in your life. But I can show you how to reduce that. How would you tell someone or advise someone to remove or to clear their energy and make positive energy or more enlightening energy move around their body?
First thing I'll do is I'll say to them, look at your life. Once you've looked at your life, get a pen and paper. Write down what is annoying you, what's affecting you, what's making you get agitated, what's causing you not to what's making you lose sleep at night, what's making you react to things rather than respond. Write those things down, right? And put them in order of 1 being not so bad and 10 being bad. Write down the order. Daily, look at those things and meditate on them. Simply close your eyes, take a deep breath in, deep breath out, and just simply ask that energy to be removed from each situation, one by one, not all at once. Start with one, day one. When you feel like that's moved in day one, then move on to the second one for day 2. And until that energy is removed, you're not moving from that topic. And slowly you'll start to feel lighter.
So I was gonna say on that, let's say 10 days pass and the energy hasn't moved, they just can't feel the energy has moved. Stick with that, right?
Stick with that.
Right. Got you.
People have the idea of, because they don't see progress in the first day, the first 10 days, they must stop. Yeah. And I always say to people, life is a journey. Life isn't happening like that in 1 second, 2 seconds. Life is a journey. And you have to see out the whole process of that journey. When you see out the whole process of that journey, then you start to get results. Patience is key. Like I've sat in jail before, had to be patient. When is the door going to open? When can I be released? You sit down, you start to understand things. What went wrong? What brought me here? And as I'm doing those tasks, the time gets shorter and shorter and shorter until I have freedom and I'm out. And then I know I don't need to make those mistakes ever again. Yeah. Because I've looked at it and assessed it. That's it. Keep going.
And that's what people don't do. They don't assess their actions. And I think more people should, like good and bad. Like I'm all for assessing. And I recently just like brought out a journal, like a journal that people can write in, just to assess yourself and sort of realize like what's going good, what's going bad, and admit like you know, we've had these conversations. I think out there, specifically the law of attraction community are like, well, if you do this one manifesting technique, you're going to get everything you want. And it's like, stop chatting BS. Do you know what I mean? Like manifesting techniques, I agree some work, but I also agree a lot of them are a placebo effect, because if you like I also believe it happens in correlation to the universe going, okay, now's the right time for you. Yeah. Now's the right time for you. So let's go back to when you were in jail, because this is going to be understanding for a lot of people to go, oh, I can't change, my life's too tough. And it's like, well, Miles has gone from someone in jail to what I would say is the complete opposite. Someone who's a plant-based diet, who doesn't eat meat, who is an energy healer, which is the complete opposite of someone, the typical person in jail. I'm not going to make like generalizations, but what did you do to make that massive shift? Because you're a completely different person. I only know this Miles. I never met the younger Miles, who probably would have, I don't know, it would have been a nightmare.
So you see, what did I do to make that change? Like, first of all, I realized that every action has a reaction. So when I could understand that, I could understand, okay, if I do A, B will happen. Right. That's the action. But if I do A, C may happen. If I do A, D may happen. So I looked at everything and I said to myself, all right, look, now you're in jail. It's almost like I had to get that out of the way. Like, it's almost like I kind of knew I was going there. from the path I'd taken prior to that. And it was like, when I hit there, I started to say, you know what? Hold on a second. I've heard this word manifestation before, but you can actually manifest things good or bad.
Yes.
So when I realized that, yeah, that's when I said, so if you don't want this to happen, then change the action of change the action. Exactly, do the total opposite. And instead of harming people, I don't harm people. Instead of
you did the total opposite. You, instead of harming, you heal. I love that.
That's it. When you start to realize that, you start to realize, like, hold on, there's actually a good part of life that you can live. Because we have the idea of, okay, this is how it is. Yeah, I'm not speaking for everyone, but what it is, most people that start this road life, whatever, it's a career. Most people start from year 7, year 8, little petty things, then they work their way up. It's like what's the word? You
start robbing from shops, then you start smoking weed, then you start taking coke, then it just progresses and it gets worse.
Exactly, progression. And they believe that, not knocking it, because do what you want in this life. I'm not to say what you shouldn't do, but just what didn't work for me, right? Because it wasn't creating a good space for me. I wouldn't say a good karma, because karma is your life. Every action is a reaction, so that is your karma. But it wasn't putting me in the right position to get to where I want to get to. So I said, cool. Back to what I was saying. Everyone starts from year 7, year 8, year 9, year 10, year 11. College, you start to graduate like people do in school, college, university, masters. Very similar to the road, very similar pattern. So when people are going to university, I'm in jail. When people are going to college, a lot of my friends are in jail. When people are in school, some of my friends are in jail. That's the graduation of road, right? Then it comes a time when you're getting too old to do certain activities, and you get lazy, you get sluggish, you start to get caught. Then a year sentence turns into 2 because you repeated the same crime. Then 2 turns into 4, 4 turns into 8. Then you get what they eliminated with IPP. You get a 10-year sentence IPP, you do 10 years rather than getting 10 do 5. So, that's what happens. Then you get to like 30, 35, and you're like, hold on a second. I've run through this, may have acquired money, but what really is money? Because you're stressing about something that was created by man. I'm not saying we don't have to have money in this world, because we're living in a 3D world. Things cost.
Unfortunately, we do need it.
Exactly. But what it is, you shouldn't stress yourself to make it, because the same robbery you might commit for 30 grand can land you 5 years in jail. Now you do the maths on 30 grand. 30 grand.
That's not worth 5 years.
It's £6,000 a year.
You might as well go get a bar job for a couple of hours a week.
Exactly. That's £500 a month. That's £125 a week. So when you deep it, does it make sense? But then there's the factor of getting away. The thing is, people don't realize it's not that you're getting away, you're getting close to falling off. It's like when someone rides a motorbike. Oh, I didn't fall off today, I'm riding a motorbike. No. You're getting closer to a bigger crash. I'm not saying motorbikes aren't okay, but that's the direction we're going. And I'm not saying there aren't hundreds of people that had to go down a jail path and see those things and whatnot, because not everyone is like that. That does road. People want to do it with a cause and effect. I want to do it, or they want to do it to buy a house, start a company, start a business. But the reality is the way the world works now, you don't have to commit crime to generate money. Like
it's easier now, more now than ever, to make money.
Exactly. I lost some time of my life to jail. I brought that back by traveling for a year.
Love that.
So all the money I could have I was making, I'm like, I didn't ever travel. But I'm thinking money is the end all be all. When reality is, you can travel. Once you're there, you're there. You can maneuver in certain ways to get by. These things aren't expensive, but we have the idea of we need tons of money to do so many things when that's not it. So when you're saying we're talking about healing, I had to heal from that. I had to stop trying to chase money, right? Create something and the money will come. When you create the vision, the money comes. It's not you just do it for the money, because it doesn't work like that. You're going to chase one thing that you'll never get. You can get hundreds of thousands of pounds, but it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing.
The interesting thing you said was about the progression phase of things. And I personally believe everything, and I think life is like, to sum up life is a progression. Like think about planting an apple seed. You don't plant it, water it once and it grows. You plant it and you water it daily until it grows. Think about a baby. You don't feed it once until it grows. You feed it daily until it grows. You don't clean your teeth once. You don't shower once. You don't have one meal. You don't do anything once. And like you said, if you do certain things, you're going to get certain outcomes. If you swim with sharks, you have a higher percentage chance of getting bitten by a shark. I'm not saying you're going to get bitten by a shark. I'd love to swim with sharks. I think it'd be a brilliant thing, but you've got a higher percentage chance. And like you said, if you're doing road, you've got a higher percentage chance of going to prison, mainly because of the environment. And I'm big on environment. And I listened to a study that Bruce Lipton did, where he basically put one cell into a petri dish, and every, I think it's 8 to 10, I can't remember exactly the amount of hours every time it divides, but it divides.
10,000.
So you might have already heard the study. So obviously he put, was it 10,000 cells in each petri dish, and they all turned out different because the environment was slightly different. The cell was the same. Like me and Miles, we're the same. We may be different skin tones, we may be different ages, we both have similar names, but we are exactly the same. Like we're both human beings. You know what I mean? Both 10 fingers, 10 toes. I'm sure you've got 10 toes. Some people don't, but that's. But at the end of the day, we're all the same.
Yeah.
Our environment is what changes us, and then that gives us a perspective on life. I personally, now scientifically understand. So the environment, that's going to be an interesting question, because it was difficult for me to get out of my old environment. Very difficult. It was a lot of like excuses. It was a lot of running away, if I'm being honest, but I needed to do that. How did you get out of an environment like that to what you're doing now? Because I know some of the people you know as well, and they're just good people.
Yeah. You know what it is? I got out of the environment because I stopped sitting in myself. I thought, all right, to do better, you're going to have to, your environment also includes the people you hang around with.
Yeah.
The people you see. So I had to think to myself, now, I'm not saying I'm influenced by anyone, but I tend to do what I want, when I want, how I please. But I allowed certain voices to just direct. And you think, but if I do this could be the outcome. Or I could work on what I'm doing for 3 years and get that same outcome. The risk is less. The reward is less. The risk here is bigger and the reward is bigger. But I have to think to myself, I like freedom. So
jail is not freedom.
It's not. So I need to get out of the environment. First of all, I have to start educating myself.
Right.
When I started to educate myself, I started to see things differently, because I've not got that ignorant mentality. And I don't want to keep going back to the food, but the food plays a big part. If you eat light, you think light, you are light. If you eat darkness, you are darkness, you see darkness. You know, when you're young, you're in school, climb over the fence, go chicken shop. Who are you getting your food from? What have they gone through in life? Energy is, you can transmit energy. So I had to start changing those things. I had to start changing what I was seeing daily in my environment. Stop seeing the same people, because chilling with Mandem and that, it doesn't do anything. Because what it is everyone has the same idea. Make the £1 million. That's the same energy, same idea for the whole ends, for the whole hood, wherever you're from. Yeah, gonna make a meal, gonna put mumsy in a good house. Look, you're not gonna put mumsy in a good house when you're in jail. Because what it is you need to educate yourself on how to get a mortgage. You're not getting a mortgage with £1 million cash, right? It's not possible unless you're gonna go through the loopholes, but you're gonna be there forever. You have to educate yourself on what it means to be in a society, understand what it means to pay bills, understand how you can avoid paying bills if you set up your business in a certain way. So
Right.
for me, it was education and understanding. Once I got education and got understanding outside of school, not that there's anything wrong with school, it's just for the school systems, I believe, like, if they, sorry if I've gone up on a tangent,
No, go for it. That's what we're here for.
with the school system, there's nothing wrong with the school system, but it's how they approach the kids. Now, if they got the kids right and got that kid to write down what they wanted, their result to be at the end of the year, then that kid can manifest that and work towards that.
Yeah, 100%.
But what we're doing is we're telling kids you're a level out of, I don't know, level 7, if they still do levels, you're a level 2. That's quite low. Imagine you're on year 10 getting a level 2, that's equivalent to a year 8 or a year 7 or a year 6.
Right.
You're saying that's what they are. You're not giving them the chance to see what they can become.
Yeah.
So if they just put certain things in different orders, kids can actually prosper in this world, and we won't have a world of suffering. But again,
and it all comes down to the education. So because I personally was, when I was in school, I was anti-education. Didn't like it, didn't agree with it. But then there we go. There's two guys that most people would look at, and I've had people judge me before, like typical tattoos, like not wearing a suit. Like I never wear I'm always in like just normal, what I would class as normal clothes. And I've been judged before, and I'm sure you have as well. We've had those conversations.
Yeah.
But we got out of the school system, the education system, and my opinion was never picking up a book, never picking up a pen again. But I then wanted to. What was it that made you want to do that again? Because obviously you went from that to now where you're literally talking about you've got to educate yourself. Like there was something that happened, and I'm curious about that.
It was people being able to live with more freedom than I did, because I'm the one making the money, but I can't show you that. I can't show you I got a Rolex, what did at the time or whatever, because it's how did you get that? Yeah. Can't show you I'm driving a nice car, because it's always how did you get that? And it was me going to like certain family venues. Like I even write a book similar to you, and I talk about it. It's that question of who are you, and or what do you do, and you're having to like look around the room, like you're pausing, your mouth is dry, and you're almost embarrassed. And it's like I was embarrassed of who I became, because I couldn't go into a normal setting and like on the road, it's cool. What my man does this, amazing. He's got this, it sounds good, but that isn't real. It's not real life. Real life is when you're able to go somewhere with your family, with your siblings, with your partner, and not have to look over. That's what it is. I wanted to be a bit more freer and live, not everything cash. Cash ain't gonna exist in some time. So reality, you get it. So that's what it was for me, just wanting to just, I do this. Now, me saying what I do now, people are like, oh my God, like, that's amazing. Like, I went chiropractor today. The woman was like, you do energy therapy. Can you explain that? And I'm thinking, well, you're interested in me. What? People are like, then they're like, how did you get into that? When I told them my backstory, they're like, yo, what the? They're like, oh my, that's amazing, because there's substance to who I am. So simply what you said, what made me get into that? Simple fact, I wanted to be myself. I wanted to show people life is good if you look after yourself. You want to be authentic. Get all the money you want, but also invest in yourself. Don't think it's about getting money to show people you got money. Invest in yourself. When you invest in yourself, get that bit further. Look, you've written a book. I've got a book coming out. I didn't pass no GCSEs, nothing. I got told. He's still writing a book. Exactly. I got told by one teacher, oh, you're just going to go to jail. Me and my 3 friends, all of you are going to go to jail. Just probably end up dead. And I'm like, she was half. For the most of it, we all did. But I thought, nah, you know what? things change. Now, in time, as I grow, because people are starting to notice me when I'm walking, I'm like, oh, you're the, oh my, yeah, look, I'm like, what? It's not getting noticed for doing badness to people. It's noticed for being good.
Yes.
That made me feel better than myself. I can walk around chest up high. Yeah, I enjoy what I do. I love what I do. I'm helping people heal themselves. I'm guiding. I'm showing them you are the healer. You got the power. Let me just show you. Because I was down in the dumps, jail. I've seen family members die. I can see people people I know have been killed. Mum died when I was 4. I've seen everything, having to not eat because you ain't got enough money today, and sisters looking after me, doing the best they could do. So it's like, I get your pain. Trust me, I get it.
Yeah, you've experienced it.
Yeah, I get it. And it's funny because it's like, I feel like a lot of these youth today, like they are ashamed to show their pain. So they act a certain way. And it's what you're looking at. Why are you looking at this, that? Bro, I'm here. Like, you don't have to be angry, Like, this is a safe space. You can express yourself. No one's going to judge you. And I think that's what it is. People don't show these youth that they have a safe space to be themselves and express.
Yes. They have to put that mask on all the time.
Exactly. That's why that cycle continues to go round and round and round, and people aren't getting healed from it. And it's the same typical, making a music video, got girls in there naked. Not saying it's degrading, because who am I to judge? But come on, man. You're going to be someone's wife one day. It's like, it's not entirely nice to say you've been in and out of jail and still doing it. So you can live a way where you're free and you can pursue what you want. Because a lot of these people that are on road, some of them are great businessmen. They're understanding the weight, the maths of this and that, calculate cash flow, money.
That's the thing. I am baffled how and you look at it, the people that are incredible at drug dealing, let's be honest, are like, they have a skill. They have a CEO mentality. They can, like, if you're doing something, because realistically, like you said, you need to like, I remember one of my friends in school, he told me that in every bag that he would sell, he would take 0.2 out of it because no one would realize 0.2 grams. He would then, every 12 bags, he would then make another bag. And I was like at the time, I didn't notice it. I was like 14, 15. But when I remember that story, and I was like, that is genius. Like, every 12 bags you sell, you make another bag. Now, if you wanted to keep that for yourself, now obviously I don't condone taking drugs, but like you said, each to their own, everyone's on their own journey. But if you're doing that, you're then either getting yourself a supply, which I don't recommend, just putting out there, or you're making a bit more money. But can that skill be utilized in a way for good? And like you said, can you have a service where you are providing real value to people versus selling them something that is, let's face it, quite like, you don't need to market drugs because people want drugs. You know what I mean? If you know how to sell, then you've got a skill. If you can use that in a good way, then you can completely change your life. You can make money in a way that is positive, is beneficial, and you can turn up and say, this is what I do. You don't have to hide it behind something else and make up some other story, because man, that still baffles me how intelligent people are. Sometimes they just don't have the, like you said, they just don't have the knowledge to know that there is something else, and they just don't. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't your fault. Like, your actions did things, but it wasn't your fault because that's all you knew.
It's about, as well, I'd say, confidence, because when you're in that world, you live in the shadows. So it's like, do I really want to show people I'm on? You think you're going to get laughed at because you're coming with an idea. Because when I was young, back in the day, if I came to my friends, this is an idea, I want to create this, I'll be like, what? Why would you do that? You can just have endless money. Why would you want to do a business? But in the real world, if you have an idea, you can generate so much money that it's like, whoa, that getting the yard for mumsy can be real legitimate, because you're building business credit. You're understanding what credit is. You're be able to manage your money, because like a lot of, like you said, drug dealers can manage their money because
Yes.
they're very precise down to the last penny.
Mm.
Imagine you're doing the taxes, boom, 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 your books. You're making so much money, you may not have to pay taxes. You know, you might put all your business in a private trust fund.
Yeah.
And they just, I think it's a confidence, and no one is there to teach them. It's just, you know, monkey see, monkey do, blind leading the blind. That's it. Have 100,000, 200,000 in cash, buy a car, buy a watch, buy a chain, buy a Rolex, rent a house. That's all it is. It's just fast. And people need to understand this distance over speed, you know, not speed over distance. You want to do things accordingly. Everyone wants things instant, so instant.
Yes.
We want to go on holiday and we want to think about getting a jet. But the point of going on holiday is traveling on that plane to that destination, not getting there so quick that you miss it.
Yeah.
Everyone is missing their process. Everyone wants it now.
Yeah.
I'm still understanding myself. I'm not yet 30, but I'm still understanding myself. Technically, I would still class myself as a child, but people think, oh, but when you're 18, you're an adult, 19. No, because not at all. When we was living till 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 30 years old, my friend, you're a toddler. You don't have mad life experiences. Yeah? So please don't come with me with that. Your knowledge is very minimal, right? You're understanding what wisdom is because you're still talking when there's no need to. So everything is a process. Don't rush it. We would love to, you know, live on the big plot of land, big house. But I always say to people, yeah, maybe your blessing is coming down the line because you're going to be here for a very long time. So you can see what it is you want for longer, rather than these people who are rich instantly, 10 mil, 30 mil, 40 mil. How many times have you heard people say, he won the lottery, she won the lottery, now they're broke?
Yeah.
Not everything's instant.
It's true.
Stability. And I'm, yeah.
You're living proof that, do you know what I mean? Like you've lived quite a few lives realistically, like in your current life, you've lived quite a few different styles of life. And I've noticed that the reason we want things instantly is because we've got Amazon. Do you know what I mean? Because we've got even this possibility. I didn't have to leave my office to have this conversation. I don't have to go out to the library to find out how to do something. Like, for example, how to start a podcast. It was just, well, I've done it. Like, ironically, this is my third podcast. So like, again, on a process thing, don't expect everything to hit, because not everything is going to hit. And that is also, in my eyes, a beneficial thing, because if everything hit first time, we would be bored. We genuinely would be. And then that's where people get overconsumed with alcohol, with drugs, with partying, with girls, with guys, whatever people are doing. And that's where their life then goes down that down spiral. And it's like, I don't know. I don't believe that we all have to have that, because we can just have those difficult lessons. Like I always say, my example always is, if I would have made money back when I was 18, I would probably be dead, because I would have spent it all on coke. I would have, if I'm being honest. And I've got a very, 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 very addictive personality. So when I do something, even people can watch me on social media. When I do something, I do it like periodically, like all the time. If I'm like, recently I've been working out, and that's the thing. It's good having addictive personality, but it's also bad. If I can get addicted to the good things, like I'm in the gym daily, every day. Like I don't really have days off. Some days here and there, mainly because I just love it so much, and it gives me so much. It gives me a dopamine hit coming out. And like I said, if I'm being honest, from a place of ego, to look in the mirror and go, "You look good. You look good, mate." Like that. That's important, I think. And if we give ourselves the ability to do that, and give ourselves the ability to get addicted to good things. If you've got an addictive personality, then it is powerful. But but that means I've got to be so careful. Like, some people would say it's a superpower. On the other hand, you don't realize how many things I have to be wary of, because if I get addicted, I'll go down a drain. And just an example, if I play a game on my phone, like I delete games on my phone, because every now and again I'll pick up a game and I'll get addicted to it, and I'll be stuck on this game, and I'm like, I've got to get off this game, but it's just so good. So it's like, it can be good, it can be bad. And that's why I stopped drinking and I can drink now, but I just don't choose to drink. I haven't taken drugs for ages. But yeah, man, it's a journey. I think life is a constant unfolding.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, we're not even 1% of the way on our journeys, and it's just an interesting journey. And I really look forward to. I'm blessed that we've connected as well, because I'm looking forward to seeing what we create in the future. I know we've already planted those seeds before, and the universe has got plans for sure. But maybe if we said like one thing that we wanted to do and we just did it, maybe that could have been the worst thing that happened, that in 5-10 years time, that one thing that we start doing then is going to be the thing that really fills ourselves with fulfillment and impacts more people.
That's it. And people just have to like you said, addictive personality. I'm very the same.
That's why we vibe.
Yeah. Because your aim is to always do better and be better and think better. And it's like, you can get consumed like just being better. But then that's not so bad if you're trying to get to the light. But if you're trying to be better at doing worse things, that's when it's the problem. Because it's like you said, you could drink, but you don't. Same. When I said drink, I couldn't believe in having a shot on a night out. It's like, nah, it's 10 shots, a bottle, mixing drinks, no chaser,
and a packet.
Forget the ice. Beef. Not going to incriminate myself. Say I drove.
Smart.
Got cab. But you're just like, why did I do that? Because you wake up the next day having to detoxify yourself from that. And if you've got stuff to do, you're functioning like this. And you're like, that's when I think I stopped drinking when I broke my ankle.
Right.
Jumped off a 3rd floor of a building to get my t-shirt. I went over the balcony. Luckily, I only just fractured it there. But I thought, wait, I drank absinthe, 90% alcohol.
Yeah.
What was I thinking?
Of course something bad was going to happen.
There you go. So I had to, from that experience, that trauma, it stopped me, it sparked something. Right. And I feel like now I understand that about myself. I know, okay, look, if something isn't good, just don't do it, because you don't want to have to learn the hard way. I couldn't go Thai boxing for like 6 weeks. They tried to say 4 months, but I couldn't go for like 6 weeks. I kind of paused. I'm not on crutches, but I was walking with a limp. Couldn't go gym, couldn't do so many things I loved because I wasted my time doing things that made no sense.
Yes.
But it's an experience I can hold. Now, if I deal with anyone who is a client, I'm not saying I'm an alcoholic, but nights out, if I'm socializing, if they have a similar problem, I can say, I went through that as well. What I did to get over it was X, Y, and Z. Don't do it the hard way, because the hard way you could lose your life. And you got one life.
Yeah.
You might have 10 chances in that life, but you got one life.
Yeah,
if it needs to go, it will go. You can't come back as this. You might come back as Margaret in the flipping year 3000, who's got one saggy boob and you know, you got one life. So live it gracefully and blissfully. Or blissful. That's the only way, man. The only way, innit? It's the only way.
Love it. It's got to be done. It's got to be done. I think, like you said, was the broken ankle really a bad thing? No, because it's given you such blessings. And that's what I really want people to understand is, man, this whirlwind of BS that you're going through right now, can that really be a blessing in disguise? Like, that's all I want to encourage people. But I want to, and like I said, this whole podcast show idea is based on intuition. Like I said, I don't script anything. I don't have any questions, because I believe that what comes to me, what comes to you in our chat is what's meant to be there. But what is one thing that you want to open people up to in the world?
Oh, I want to open people up to, like, don't be afraid to understand yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. If you like to sit at home, meditate, do it. No one's going to judge you. And always listen before you do things.
Yes.
Don't react to things. Respond to them.
Yes.
If
love
something
that.
doesn't sit well with you, then wait, then get an answer. Don't just run because you think you need to. Tread lightly through life. It's not a race. Like I say, it's not speed over distance. Just take your time. Take your time to understand yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, and educate yourself. So I want to open people up to all of that, if that even makes any sense.
Love
but
that.
understanding self and knowledge of self. That's
it.
what everyone should just look at doing. And you may enjoy it. If you do, you do. If you don't, you don't. Apologies for wasting your time. But I like it on this side of life, you know.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. Like you're happy, and I think that's the biggest thing, is just getting people to question, like, is what you're doing actually what you want to do in 5-10 years time? If the answer's not a hell yeah, then man, we've got to change that. And I agree with you. I agree with you. But Miles, as always, blessed to chat. This needs to go out. Is there anything that you want like people to follow you, website, Instagram, anything like that? Like, I know I'll tag all your stuff in the video as well.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you want where people can find you and all that kind of stuff?
Just, my Instagram, the New Age Healer, my website, the newaghealer.world. Gonna lift up that website. Nothing wrong with it, but I'm gonna make it real digital. Packages on there, more content and whatnot. Also the book I'm bringing out. Not gonna reveal the name, but you'll see it when it comes.
Yeah.
And then the second book after that, that's gonna be like a plant-based meal plan for how people can get into becoming plant-based, because I know there's a lot of stigma behind it. Oh, I'm low in iron. Oh, I'm low in this. Oh, the doctor's saying that. There's a way to do it. And if you follow these steps, like in my first book I'm bringing out about manifestation, if you follow those steps, you can do things easier and the right way. So you're not getting any complications or finding yourself sick or losing the crazy weight. So, yeah.
Awesome stuff, brother. No, I appreciate you showing up. Appreciate you showing up as always.